money from them when you immediately, by just increasing the cost of fuel, you've already changed the economic environment of the country. So I think we have to be honest with each other. I think the part of the 16% on VAT on petroleum products, that for me was in fact the biggest blunder that they made at the beginning.
Right, so we wait and see whether the MPs will say that they're the voices of the people on the ground, will save Kenyans.
We are already saying no.
Yeah, but also,
let's move on, gentlemen.
Before
let's move on to the next question.
Before I move on, Brenda.
Yes.
I think it's also not fair for us to make it look like VAT is a creature. 16% VAT is a creature of the Kenya Kwanza administration. That has always been the case. What happened is that it had been reduced during the COVID times.
Yes.
Now it is just been reinstated. So let us not try to make it look like it's a new tax.
I think how Kenyans are looking at it. I think how Kenyans are looking at it is, personally, you've been given a gift here. You've stayed with it for years and years. Then later on, I tell you, give me back. That is how Kenyans are looking at it. Like, we're used to this 8%. Then now, add now the 8% was supposed to be implemented, and it was not implemented. Bring it back to 16. And
but there's a reason why,
there was
Brenda,
no VAT on fuel.
There's a reason why it was done at that point in time.
Yes.
That was for COVID-19.
Exactly.
Now that time is over, and honestly, we are not able to finance the budget. Let's not lie to one another.
All right.
That's the truth.
Incidentally, the VAT on fuel was 0. So the fight we had was actually to even charge VAT at 8%. That was a fight. Now it's going up to 16%.
Right.
Yes.
So now we've looked at the VAT, we've looked at the excise duty. When you're talking about the mobile money transfer, moving from 12% to 15%, and the reduced bank transfer from 20% to 13%. Of course, just as I had said earlier on, this means that Kenya will be losing on one hand and gaining on the other hand. Now, let's look at this income tax. Additional tax in the income tax that will see Kenyans earning 500,000 pay a tax of 35% when everybody else is paying 30%. Just before you respond to that, Honorable Maura, let me bring in Mbui here. And this is something that the opposition leader, Raila Odinga, has strongly opposed.
Brenda, you must look at it from this perspective. Even if someone is earning $500,000, even if they're earning $1 million, they have an employer. And obviously the employer is the boss. Now, if you're working in a private company, your boss who owns that company, when he makes profit, he will only be charged at the rate of 30%. But you who works for him are being charged at the rate of 35%. How unfair can we be? How can you tax workers more than you're taxing businesses? So for me, I think the 35% on people who earn more than $500,000, I think that was unfair.
So would you propose that businesses pay more?
It would have. I mean, if
because
you
already
must,
because already the turnover, the business.
You see,
the
Brenda,
business turnover tax has also been raised from 1% to 3%.
I am actually against increasing any taxes.
Okay.
I'm totally against increasing any taxes. But I'm just saying that even if you are to increase, because now the highest percentage tax is at 35% on income of employees. And yet their own employers and the bosses who are making billions and billions are only paying 30%. Isn't that a bit unfair? So I think that's why you can see that employees, the whole country are up in arms, because it's not just the pay as you earn. I mean, they've hit us with recently NSSF contributions have gone up 540% from 200 shillings to 1,080. And employers also have to chip in a similar amount. That's already hitting at the same pocket. And then look at the introduction, and I think you will discuss this also, the housing fund, which is also going again into the same pay slip.
We will actually get into that housing scheme, because that is why we need to set the record straight from what the politicians have been saying outside there to what is on the paper.
But I just want to point out that Kenyans whose salaries have not increased for I don't know how many years are suddenly having to pay so much more from the same pay slip, and yet the cost of living has gone up. In fact, I think a research was done the other day, and they are saying the value of 1,000 shillings about a year or two ago is now about 540 shillings. So that means our value in our cost of living is too high. And so
Right.
anything you do to touch anyone's pocket is unfortunate. And let me tell you, Brenda, maybe you didn't notice, it's also